Hello and welcome. It is the 27th of May, 2019. My name is Derek. I'd like to welcome you to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like, well, that is within each's own risk and their own reward. And around at 12:38 p.m. Eastern Time today, for a span of only a handful of minutes, price action went down to the one-year highs of a little over 89, falling down to 86.13. And then quick rebound up in here, holding the low every single time, thus establishing this support in here. But more importantly, establish this level of resistance at 87.65, which it has gotten above at around the late 2 p.m. hour and has been holding and staying above it ever since. In this video, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Trade Satoshi. I read an interesting article. Doesn't look good there. And I want to talk about an off topic related situation, but with the NBA Finals, I want to talk about statistics and how you can go from, oh my goodness, how can you be that bad to that damn good. I remember seeing way back when, which was like 4 years ago, Jackie Bradley Jr. of the Red Sox was just terrible. I thought he was the worst baseball player there ever was playing the game. And then after I said that, he ended up playing phenomenal, one of the best players for the rest of the year. This is pretty much another example of the same thing. Okay, we'll get to that at the very end though. The daily term time frame for Bitcoin still doing its breakout stage, breakout status, moving higher above this level of previous resistance at the low 8300s, we'll say. Low 8000s is what I was going to say. 4 hour term time frame ever since that move has held and stayed above. Still waiting for the 18 if you quote unquote want an official correction, because it's only went sideways for about 5 periods, where the hour has seen the correction come. And this little period had the big selling, as I shown on the start on the 1 minute time frame. How it's been able to rebound, basically a failed breakout followed by a failed breakdown, and then is now back into neutrality. And yeah, so one of the things that I stated before, this thing could just go neutral for a while, and so far it's done a tremendous job of establishing the support here at 86.80. Yes, it went below it, but it held and stayed above it on this period because the move was literally just for seconds below that level. Resistance established in here at 89.50. It managed to, well, I did say highs. I mean, this was technically the 1 year highs, so it didn't fall from 1 year highs, but pretty much it did. So it had a match pierce below of this high in here, and then just hanging in there doing its thing. So that will be it for the Bitcoin analysis. But let me go over an article from well, I'll see what it's from, but it's regarding Trade Satoshi and online exchange. And the article comes from altcoinbuzz.io. I'll put a link to this article in the more information box. Trade Satoshi accused of malpractices regarding their exchange handling. Trade Satoshi is a small exchange which allows trading on low value coins. Its users were people who wanted to remain anonymous. Suddenly, with the introduction of its KYC, all hell broke loose. KYC is an acronym for Know Your Customer, or another way of saying you need to give us identification, so on and so forth. I'm only going to go over little bits of this as a little bit of a long article, but the cryptocurrency exchange, which was once popular for its listing of various unverified micro-cap low-value coins, and which also allowed its users to trade without such, has now been accused of malpractices. The exchange is freezing addresses, mass blocking unverified user accounts, rejecting valid KYCs, blocking customers. Is it an exit stamp? Question mark. Well, let's take a critical look, and it does certainly look so. And a lot of this, and there's going to be stuff in here that's coinciding within that of Cryptopia as well. There was a mass delisting saga, but again, I only want to go over a few different things on here. And one of it here, the huge withdrawal fees of Bitcoin. Trade Satoshi suddenly started charging huge withdrawal fees. Bitcoin withdrawal fees were raised to an insane 400,000 Satoshi, where Binance and pretty much the entire, well, at least I can't say entire, but Craptopia, when they were around, had 50,000. Poloniex, Bittrex, and Binance are all 50,000 Satoshi fees. That's the standard. And that's expensive too, but 8 times more, of course. So that works out. It's closing in on $60, $70, and maybe a little cheaper before, but not much cheaper. And even some more things in here. Different things like then came the blocking and the rejections. A Bitcoin user reported that when cross questioned, the mail address was blocked in Trade Satoshi support service. While trying to send another support user got below, oh, something went wrong. However, when he tried with another email address, a support request passed through. The criteria, okay, well, basically, what they're saying in here is that they would block people. So there was somebody saying, "Yo, everything's fine," and the next day that count was blocked. So they were blocking people's ID or IP address, all that type of stuff. It is to be noted initially Poloniex allowed users to keep any username, but when the Circle acquisition happened as an identity industry best practice, they insisted everyone do KYC. They also gave users an option of changing their username, which Trade Satoshi did not. They also let users withdraw their funds within a time frame. So here we have KYC. So even like I said, they've been stating rejections of the real ones. I even knew somebody before a month ago or 6 weeks ago was just having so many frustrations regarding their Col X, and the Col X is a huge one on here, as there's going to be talking about. But here's a situation here. Trade Satoshi. After the support mod, Chris told me that I should not worry. After the coins, after this incident, I went to sleep in the morning. I found out that they banned my IP address and locked my account. So you see error 1006 with the time and the identification and date. The owner of this website, Trade Satoshi, has banned your IP address. So now you got exchanges that are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to ban you. Uh, and here we got Trade Satoshi's link to Cryptopia, an exclusive story. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and one of the people who was owning Cryptopia ended up getting a job at Trade Satoshi. There's a lot of interesting aspects together that says there could be a lot of scamish, to say an easy way of saying it. And so yeah, the Trade Satoshi company. There's a date. Company status dissolved. Company type private limited company. Dissolved on, which means they went out of business. July 24th, 2018. So that, again, there's be more in here. Uh, this is a new comment. I just got banned from this Trade Satoshi exchange for calling them out for frequently delisting coins and disabling trading withdrawals afterwards. I will be sure that the world sees what they are doing if they don't let me back in to reclaim my cryptocurrency funds. Okay, so that is that on Trade Satoshi, which means we live in a world with shit coins and shit exchanges. And when you're playing any of these types of exchanges, it's definitely a big risk, big reward, or high risk, high reward. And I would say high reward because if it works out, your withdrawals are fine. You get paid on the monstrous higher volatility that you can access from those kinds of sites, then it can work out. But as we've seen with Cryptopia at any given time, oh shit, look what just happened, and that sort of thing. With Coin Exchange, with the XBY, which is now in a really bad spot given they are months away from getting coins back from the sounds of it, and that's at best case scenario. Well, the XBY price will be probably going down there, and I'm even thinking, well, not only that, but I only want to have so many coins on there. And yes, I could put them in hardware wallets, but The reason why I want to put coins on hardware wallets is in case something happens to the coins, I can trade them somewhere else, and there really isn't anywhere else. So it's that coin is in a really bad situation, I think. So I end up selling a little bits here and there, so that I put the total minimum that I could on the exchange, and thus guaranteeing that if the coins were to go to nothing, I'm already at the point where my net sales in Bitcoin is higher than my net payments, meaning I'm profiting well. Okay, so then let's move on to some other coins like Litecoin. And it too had the big move. And this one got way high. This got up to 122 almost. Then it fell down to a little over 110. A loss, a reduction of a little over $11, basically a 10% move. And now had a little pause hour, the previous hour, the 2 p.m. one, making it up to the 18 average of highs, and with 12 minutes and 52 seconds to play in the hour, or having 80% of the hour complete. It's pausing in there. Okay, so this whole move, it's doing well. And the situation here to me is this level of Fibonacci, and I'm going to go to the weekly chart for it now. As we were continuously down, this has been continuously high. This market has had absolutely no corrections within the 18 other than the 18 average of highs since it left it. Never ever came back. Close through time in here, again close, but not really all that, not even that close, on March 25th. The three candle down period and into the fourth was enough to barely get onto it, and then prices are just continuously going high. And one thing that I've been saying about Litecoin is the moves. These things can just go phenomenally fast, phenomenally, and that's been so phenomenal. So that's the case. So this could continue to do so up past the 126, up until maybe it's going to stop going up. Maybe it'll keep doing so to 200. But regardless of the fact, whenever you have just the early situation of leaving the 18, something like this, now it's all about, oh, we got to hold and stay above where we came from at 40, 18 lows. And when you do better, we had this game. Well, now let's hold and stay above, like, say, 50. And then, okay, now it's higher. Let's hold and stay above 65. Okay, and that's where it is right now. Still, let's hold and stay above 65. But if it makes a move, say up to 200, I'm going to be like, okay, let's hold and stay above 92. And just keep on upgrading or increasing the number as I need to going forward. Let's now finish this off within the cross against BTC for Litecoin, which on the weekly chart has had this small little blimp right now within the 18 average going lower, but has now managed to go up towards it. 18 average is flat. However, if this market doesn't manage to rally above the 140 number this week, it's going to start to decline next week. And we've seen within this Fibonacci even more when we see it more clearly amongst the daily. Support once, support twice, support three times. It failed on number 4. Then it resisted it once, resisted it second time. It resisted the third time, but this time it didn't go down. It just hung in there and congested above and below that line. Still really doing the same thing given today's lows and today's highs, but holding in within this key level, which is to me a very big thing for the market. It didn't come down to this key level, but now we're talking about retracement levels. You have point A low to point B high. So there's the retracement within it. And if it's able to come on back up, that would be a successful retracement. And that's the retracement we can look at again as it moves higher, this low to this high. But whenever you're able to have a successful one, and it held above this, didn't even touch it. It, well, definitely broke down below here, but I guess I can do that. I'm not going to draw it. You could draw a little box thing in here. And now that it's gotten above the 18 and holding and staying above it on the daily for a few days in a row, totally live for this to start going up to the 140, 150, 160 region. And as far as my long-term analysis on this, to me this remains relatively simple for me as far as sell areas. Into this the lower end of the high point is like 170s area where it was before. That's the lower end of the high number of the low of the three levels, which really goes up to like 300 and change. But and this is a legitimate high. The low, whatever. And even this one, whatever. But this high is a legitimate high, even though it's got that line. It did go up there and sold it off really fast within that month. So you had a twice hit area before with the 30 level. Comes up to this point in here, close to it. You could say it was this was a spot to attempt to test that level. Obviously failed, but within the failure of these two previous highs, it successfully managed to not revert the market into any type of bear market. Very much choppy, yes, and therefore it's got to break choppiness or neutral, either up or down. And I feel that if it were to break above this, which is 0.03, that's 3% or about 33 to 1 ratio. So if you feel that this ratio will go to 10 to 1, and some people do, well, then the price action on this could go to zero point 0.1. So for me, the sell area of light sell area is between like the 170 up to the 30 handle. And then starting to break that, I probably won't have much. I probably won't want to sell much between 30 and about 40, 42, 43, 45 even, because breaking that resistance should be a huge move. But from 45 to around like 70, 75 becomes mediumly very good sell spots. And I think going above zero point zero 0.08, that's where I would just be aggressive and just sell big. Way overextended probably will come significantly down thereafter. That's how I'm playing within this market. It's going to go in one of three things at least next. One, it's going to break above that and test some of these areas. Two, it's going to break down below this support between the 55 and we'll say the 30 handle down in here. And if it doesn't do neither, then it's going to stay within this range and that will keep it neutral. As long as it's neutral or bullish, I can easily profit from this, and very well at that. So in conclusion with this, we got the daily chart on Litecoin showing very nice signals amongst this fib. On the 4-hour term time frame, after resisting it the last time, we can see that nice price correction down, but it instantly gets above it, consolidates within it very aggressively amongst such. As you can see in here, there's that big 2-hour move up. Nice little consolidation, but it supports the 18 lows, holds and stays above where it came from at around 126, and then showing a lot of strength amongst the 18 average of highs for quite some time. This little move first went up, and then it went down. Pause period, just like against the US dollar, and very progressive moving forward. I like to see, well, I think it's moving pretty good going on. So I think that Bitcoin's going to be making it to 10,000. Litecoin is going to be making it to probably like 130 plus US, and we'll see what happens. Now, on a side note, let's talk about statistics and how you can go from really bad to extremely magnificent with fundamental news at the changing point. Fred Van Fleet is a guard for the Toronto Raptors. And he's young, he's 25, and he just became a father for the second time, having his first son. And he is now Fred Van Fleet Sr. And as at that name, he's got tremendous statistics, at least when we talk about the 3-point game. I'm going to scroll down to playoff statistics, playoffs per game, playoff totals. We're looking at this season. He has played in 18 games, 397 minutes played. He is shooting a very terrible 35.9% from the field. And not so great, but reasonable. 37.9 from downtown, a 3-point shot. That's at 37.9, that's satisfactory. 22 of 58. Okay, let's take a look at his game log. Where do we find that? Oh, and I'm going to have to... I really needed game log here. Just going to get this, memorize this number again. Sorry for taking so long. So 22 of 58. I'm just going to have to do a Google search for game log. Well, I guess the link doesn't work anymore because that's... Covers.com has it. Okay, so Fred Van Fleet. Let's take a look at his game log. Yeah, they don't have all the stats. I guess we'll take ESPN or. Why does Basketball Reference? They used to have it before. Okay, here we have it. So, against Milwaukee, here, 4 of 5 downtown for 80%. Game before, 7 of 9 for 77 and 7/9, and perfect 3 for 3, which means that he is 10 of 12 here and 14 of 17 from 3 over his last 3 games. And this is after he had his child. He was 1 for 8 the game before. So if he's 14 of 17 in the last 3 games and 22 of 58 on the season, that means he came into that game at 8 of 41, which is about a little under 20%, as 8 of 40 would be exactly that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes things can happen fast on a dime. And this is a case of a human being in the playoffs who has obviously been struggling shooting. A child comes into his life and lights out for 3 consecutive games. And one of the things I believe us humans have is, I don't know if you call it mojo or what it is, but it's a level of momentum that can last several days and if not weeks at times, but can only last for so long. And then when you have it and you're in that zone, if you will, then fantastic things can happen. But they don't usually last too long. But just thought I'd bring this up. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.